Hello and welcome to a new week's Vlogmas. This is my advent candle that I've been lighting every night, but we are still way behind as it's burning so slowly. During the week I've been trying to make a few little decorations around the house, and most years I make some pomanders, and they are just oranges stuck with cloves and often a decorative ribbon. You can do little different designs on them, but the ones that work best I find are the ones which are quite tightly packed with cloves. I think the cloves help preserve them. So I've almost completed two. This one I've just got to add the ribbon on top, and what I'll do is I'll just poke a clove through the ribbon and to secure it to the top of the orange. And then this third one, I'm about halfway done, and just doing some little designs, almost like little clusters of cloves, which look a little bit like flowers, I suppose. And I've completed half of it and just the other half to go. Although I don't think that this one is going to last too long because the orange was going a little bit soft quicker than the other two. But it does make the house smell absolutely glorious. And they're so easy to do and just so festive. Make a nice little centerpiece on the table. I just leave mine in a bowl, and kind of works like a scented candle because it's just so delicious. I ended up buying my Christmas cards this year as I didn't have time to paint them. I've got a few that I need to send out via post, not many, but I did need to buy a book of second-class stamps, and then I've got a few to hand out to some other people. I did buy a new stamp this year to go with my Christmas cards, just to add a little something for when I want to sign from the cats as well. Didn't take me too long to do my cards. As I say, I don't have that many to write. And it was a nice little job that I could get in before heading off to work. So these are my finished cards, and thought I'd show you this year's design from Royal Mail for second class. Just I always think it's a nice idea that they do special Christmas stamps. Just the stamps on and we're all done. I'll put them in the post. It is cocktail time now, and this time Mark and I are trying a cocktail called Mrs. Claus. This one has 50ml of vodka, 50ml of pomegranate juice, 25ml of orange liqueur, and 25ml of sweet and sour mix. I've poured them all into my shaker over ice, give it a good shake, and then strain. Used a new ice cube here, very large one. And then to garnish, just a slice of orange and some cranberries. Sprig of mint would have made it look nice. but didn't have any to hand. It's still nice as it is. And it was very refreshing and fruity. It's very nice, this one. Another week and another garden centre, and this time the turn of one called Haskins, which is very close to us.
It's what goes with
Close to the entrance, they've got this range of very pale green, snowy, woodland type decorations, which I really like, particularly that little birdhouse. And I just love miniature trees. Like we have a little forest that we often put out. Not that I've done it yet, but those trees are gorgeous, so I'll have some of those. And on a very similar theme, they've kind of got this snowy, light blue theme as well, with some very cute little bits in here, including these the
polar bear would
trees,
definitely go with our theme.
This fuzzy polar bear, and these super cute little snow boots. I love those. I didn't get them though. They have all different sections with different decorations in Haskins. I really like this quite bright, colourful section as well. Though I didn't buy anything from it. It's quite a mishmash of different colours and ideas. Yeah. And Mark quite liked the Father Christmas gnome. I find it really difficult to decide on one theme I like. But this little robin with the earmuffs on. Oh, so cute. Did lose Mark at one point, and surprise, surprise, I found him in the beer section. There he is. And he's off again. I was really pleased to see that the garlic farm had a little section here, including this vampire slayer sauce. That looked quite fun. Some other very interesting food bits, including these multicoloured pastas. They were a little bit more willing than I was willing to pay, but very attractive, very real novelty, these. I could make a really nice hamper with some of the bits that you get in here. Got some really nice flavoured oils and some pestos, some pasta sauces. Oh, excuse the shaky cam. More gorgeous jars of pasta. And some super attractive looking olives too. Cool. Look at them. A few of the garden centres that we've been to recently have got this stunning homeware range by Kath Kidson, and it's this beautiful blues, pinks and reds, and I just can't get over how gorgeous it is. I did end up buying this ceramic candle holder. Did laugh. I found this officially on the naughty list badge. I think it rather suited Mark, and he did agree. Look at this. There's been loads of novelty stuffed animals, and found a new one. This chicken or turkey, weren't sure, but it did make us chuckle. I love this display. All these beautiful plush velvety bows and garlands. I love it. As it's late night shopping, they had an offer, pizzas for £10, and these were so good. I had a pesto, chorizo, chicken pizza, and Mark had a meat feast one, which had some kind of red currant jelly on as well. It's lovely. After dinner, we headed over to the gift section and couldn't help but have a little look round the jelly cats. Can't believe the price of some of these. That's almost £55 for that palm tree. But they are funny. Like the little treasure chest did make us laugh. Mark couldn't believe the cost of that. His face is not impressed. And this little guy, we love the name of. He's called Hug McSnug. I've got these other toys which aren't Jellycat, but very Jellycat-like. I did think that was a pickle, but looking back, it's probably a cactus, but very sweet regardless. Down here, there is even a little bubble tea. So sweet. So next, something not so Christmassy, but it could be made as a little gift for someone. I'm going to make some shaving cream. And it's quite a simple recipe, and it turns out so luxurious. I recommend it. So for the recipe, you need coconut oil, mango butter, liquid soap, and some kind of carrier oil. I'm using jojoba oil. So we start off with 70 grams of the coconut oil and 70 grams of the mango butter. And I'm adding it into my stainless steel jug. And I'm going to gently warm that up in a double boiler until they have melted together. It doesn't take long at all. And then at that point, I'll add 3 tablespoons of the liquid soap and 2 tablespoons of the jojoba oil. And then you set that in the fridge for a few hours. It doesn't completely set. There's going to be a little bit of liquid in there, but you'll see it's not pure liquid anymore. And at that point, you can mix it together so it becomes more like a creamy consistency. It works quite nicely at that point. If you really want it like light and airy and smooth, you can beat the mixture. I use my electric mixer, and it just makes it this really luxurious shaving cream. Now, I'm not adding any kind of preservatives into this, so it'll probably last a couple of weeks, and I just extend that by a few days by just keeping it in the fridge. And it is very nice. Oh, I forgot to say I do add a little bit of fragrance in here as well. About 10 drops should do it. So as you can see, this is it after it's been whipped, and it is super light and fluffy now. It melts into your skin and protects it while shaving so well. And I'll just rub a little bit onto my hand so you can see the consistency a little bit better. So I got 2 jars out of the mix that I made today. It's a really simple recipe. So if you like making like homemade cosmetics and things, and you have ingredients, I definitely recommend giving this a try. So next, I've got a packet of puff pastry, and I wanted to make some kind of cheesy nibbles, get some ideas for Christmas, try some bits out. So I've grated some strong cheddar cheese, and then I'm going to play around with some different shapes and extra flavours with the cheese to see what I like the best and how much I can get out of this one sheet of puff pastry. So I'm going to do 4 different ideas. So I'll cut my pastry into 4 and work from that. First up, I'm going to have a cheese and mustard. quite a generous layer of Dijon. I think cheese and mustard makes a wonderful flavour combination. If I'm ever making a cheese sauce, something like macaroni cheese or cauliflower cheese or anything like that, I always add mustard powder in with the flour to enhance the cheese flavour. So I thought cheese and mustard would work really well. So for this one, just going to roll them up. Dead simple. And then because puff pastry expands quite a lot in the oven, I'm going to have to bake this in batches. So for the next one, I was thinking of doing some kind of cheese and tomato. So I've got using tomato puree. And then I'm just going to turn them into like little turnovers or little pockets. I press the edges down to crimp them. With all of these pastry bites, or these cheese bites that I'm making, they will be washed with egg just to stop them catching in the oven. And they bake in about 13 to 15 minutes. Have the oven reasonably high, about 200. Next, it's time for some herbs, and I've got some dried chives here, which I thought would meet a nice combination with the cheese. And I wanted to make some cheese twists, kind of like the ones you get in the supermarket, only I know that the homemade ones would be a lot nicer. So I gently pressed the herbs and the cheese into the pastry, so that the idea is that when I twist them, the cheese wouldn't fall off. But that didn't quite work. So instead I have folded the pastry over, cut it into rectangles, and then as I gently twist the pastry, I'm also stretching it out to make a thinner, crisper cheese twist. This worked quite well, and I got 4 out of this quarter part of pastry, so a whole sheet would make 16. So it goes quite a long way. These are probably my second favourite of the ones I did. I wasn't entirely sure what to do for the last one, but I have got some garam masala, a jar of, so I thought I would sprinkle that on. I didn't know how much to use, and I could have been far more generous this. It did give a kind of Indian flavoured palette on this. It worked quite well. And I used a tiny bit of cheese as I didn't want that to overwhelm the flavour. And as for shape, I just scrunched these up into balls. And I thought, oh, this could be a bit of hit or miss, but it was by far my favourite. So I made sure that the cheese and the spices were on the inside, and then cut it into equal portions, so I knew you wouldn't get all kinds of different sizes on this. Yeah, gave them a little scrunch up into balls. Egg wash, and then at the last minute I decided to put some nigella seeds on top. And I think this really added to it, and I will definitely be making these again. So here's the finished results. These were all lovely. Coming up next, I make some sweet chili jam, and these cheese twists were particularly nice with the chili jam. So this is a recipe that I make probably a couple of times a year, as Mark and I eat it with all kinds of food, and I often end up gifting a jar or two as well. This is a recipe from Nigella Lawson. It's on her website, and it's a sweet chili jam. So start off with 150 grams of mild red chilies, and de-seed them and cut them into quarters. So once you've prepared 150 grams of chili, we also need 150 grams of red pepper. Preferably red, because then you get this beautiful, really deep red colour in the jam. So I'm going to de-seed this as well. Only needs to be roughly chopped, as we're going to be using the food processor to finely chop it. Didn't quite have 150 grams of red pepper, but I did have an orange pepper in the fridge, so I just used a little bit of that as well. Measuring out 600 ml of apple cider vinegar, and add that to a heavy bottom pan, and to that I'm adding 1 kilogram of jam sugar. Put the hob on low, just so that the sugar dissolves in the vinegar, and while that is warming up slowly, going to use the food processor to chop up the peppers. This only takes a few seconds. It's definitely the easy option. When that's finely chopped, I'm going to add that into the sugar and vinegar mix and bring it up to a very fast boil, and allow that to boil without stirring for 10 minutes. Should be ready when you can put a teaspoon on a cool saucer, leave that for a few seconds, and when you press it with a spoon, it starts to wrinkle, so you can see that it's going to set nicely. I'll leave my jam for another 10 minutes to start to cool. You can see it's becoming jelly-like, and when you give it a stir, the red pepper doesn't sink to the bottom. At this point, you can add the chili jam into sterilised jars, and then just label them. This will keep in the cupboard, but once opened, into the fridge, and it will last a couple of weeks in there. Never lasts that long though. Not a particularly big shop this week, as I'm trying to use up things from the freezer and the cupboards, just so we've got a little bit more space to make room for some Christmassy bits. So I've got our fruit, got bananas, oranges, strawberries, a couple of packs of tomatoes. Mark's just gone back to the car because we think we've dropped the cucumber somewhere. Then on to our chilled stuff. I've got some Italian hard cheese, butter, some turkey and ham for sandwiches. Meat for the week, we've got some minced beef and some chicken breasts. I'm going to do a double lasagna with that. So for 2 nights, a humongous one. And then we've got the chicken for a curry. And speaking of the curry, I bought this Balti Pataks Balti cooking sauce. Eggs. A tiger loaf for lunches. Some croissants for the weekend. I've got some friends coming to stay. And on Wednesday, my brother and niece are coming over. And we're going to make some brunch. I'm going to try making some kind of like French toast. So I've got some brioche loaf, because I thought that would be nice, and some Greek yogurt, and we're going to have the strawberries with that. And I've got cheddar cheese for sandwiches, some honey nut cornflakes as an alternative, some more decaf coffee, and then a chili con carne mix, as I've got a couple of tins of beans to use up. And the Mark is rather quite liking these apple crumble inspired Muller corners, so I've got him some more of those and some Muller lights. And there were some other boring bits, but they're not about. And then a couple of bits to put away for Christmas. I've got a Terry's chocolate orange, always a favourite in this household. And then my dad eats a lot of cheese and crackers. And we normally get the Sainsbury's own brand because they're pretty decent. But the Festive Jacobs selection is now out, so I've got a pack of them to put away. And as you can see, my niece did make us some French toast with yoghurt and strawberries. Delicious. Mark and I also headed over to McDonald's to try their new Christmas menu. The restaurant itself was absolutely packed, so we couldn't sit in. So excuse the video here, but we tried the Grinch menu and their pickle shaker fries. I loved these. I really like the sharp flavour on them. In fact, I think that they could have been even stronger. And I love the shaker fry ideas. I think Mark kind of liked them, but wasn't overly impressed with them. But I love them. Then we had this lemonade. I thought it tasted of melon, but I didn't actually look it up to see what it was. But it was nice and sharp as well, and sweet. That was quite a fun combination, because it's quite green at the bottom. And then I tried this grumble pie as well. The colour was kind of off-putting, the bright green, but the filling was lovely with this like cranberry and custardy filling. So that was a hit. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra for now.